Hi everyone, this is Lokesh from the Soul Freedom Show, and we have a very special guest today, DiTina, all the way from Arizona. Hi, DiTina, how are you doing?
Hi, wonderful, thank you.
Nice, good to see you, at least on Zoom. We've been, yeah, talking for a while, and finally we're making this happen. I always wanted to know more about your background, and I mean, not just me. I'm sure a lot of our listeners would want to know what you've done, what you're doing these days. And let me just give a quick intro. So, DiTina is an energy medicine practitioner. She's also a medicine woman, a body worker, a wellness coach, and she also does readings. Wow, that's a lot. How do you manage all that?
A schedule, a
I know,
planner.
planning. Yeah, planning. So you don't live in no time, you still live in time.
I do, yes. But both
Yeah, and
simultaneously.
yeah, parallel lives. Yeah. And also, yeah, I know. It's like because we are both fans of Andrew Bartzis, and there's no way we can have a conversation without talking about him. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, he talks a lot about no time, and I'm such a big fan of his teaching. But anyway, let me just request you to just tell our listeners a little bit more about yourself, what you've been up to, how you started this journey, and stuff like that.
Well, thank you. And I do want to say today is very special for me. So thank you, Lokesh. Um, this is my first time being on a live or almost live video. So I want you to know that I really value that. Thank you.
Mhm.
And so, how I got started was being born. Um, there were a lot of different situations that I had encountered all the way up until I was 6 years old. And I was raised out in the woods where there were no people around, and it was beautiful and scary at the same time. And so as I got older, about 7, I started noticing that the things that I was dreaming were coming true. And then as time progressed, I was taught by my mother these ancient philosophies and religions and how to handle an output and input of senses. So becoming this particular person that I am today definitely involved everybody else that I was around. So again, giving credit to all the teachers and the mentors that I've had in my life. And then as far as my teaching, the schooling, and the actual foundation of my work, that started when I was 12. I was going to college classes, learning about psychology and different forms of astrology, and again, back into religions. I was very fascinated with the esoterics and metaphysics even back then, and I wanted to become a doctor.
Mm. You are a doctor. You are a heart doctor, right? Heart. Because
I
you're
will
so in,
wear I will wear that label. Yeah.
yeah, because you're so intuitive. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you developed your intuition, or how maybe you can give people some tips to develop the intuition? Because I know, and I'm sure you know that you're so intuitive. So yeah.
Intuition isn't something that can be sought after. It's something to listen to. and make tons of mistakes in the meantime. And so even if you were to say, I was wrong about that, my intuition was wrong about that, it's still okay. You're developing a skill. So my intuition, I feel I was very lucky, because going back to being raised out into the woods, you really need to have a high skill with listening, observing, feeling, looking, noticing the hairs on the back of your neck. You know there's an animal over there. You know that you're in danger. You kind of have these innate feelings that come up. And then
almost like instincts, right?
It's like an instinct. Yeah. Like that's
okay.
Don't go that way, go this way. Don't walk down
instinct.
that path. Yeah. Well,
basic instinct.
Yeah, not the movie part of it though, right?
Right.
So yeah. So anyway, that was kind of the developmental part of it. So as far as anybody else that's doing that, I would really encourage them to go out into nature, be afraid, be alone, get quote unquote lost, get those feelings kind of moving and pumping through your body. Don't drive somewhere and don't have your phone on the GPS. Just kind of feel and notice where you are. Look at all of your environment. Look at the cars. Just walk down a city street and don't try to read people. Try to feel yourself and notice how other people are interacting and interweaving between each other. How would you describe intuition?
I would say, like you said, it's more from the heart than the mind. Like that's how I look at it. And so the first thing that comes to mind is music, especially I'm wearing my favorite band, Pink Floyd.
Yeah, music.
Yeah, so when we listen to music, it's like next to the heart, and we feel like it's like we're in the zone, and we feel like, I'm talking about music we like, like not like death metal, but like whatever connects to my heart, and I feel that I'm in that space where I'm not thinking too much, and then whatever comes up is like from my heart, which I would say is intuition, right?
Yeah, so you can tune into your intuition when you're listening to music.
Yeah. I think they have those different brainwave states, right? Alpha, beta, gamma. So I think, I don't know which one, but when we get into that gamma, or is it, I don't know, maybe you know more about it. We're about to go to sleep. Is that a gamma or a theta?
Waves, yeah.
Delta, yeah, I was completely off. But that's because I'm in a different dimension right now. Oh, yeah. Did I tell you I ascended last night?
No, you didn't say that.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, we talk about it later. Okay. So, yeah, I think that was a joke, by the way. No, maybe I did. But anyway, I don't. Actually, a couple of days back, I had this vision of, I was thinking of somehow the word ascension came in, or ascended came in, and the word TR, because we're talking about intuition, I'm trying to connect the dots, like this 2 letters, 2 characters, TR came in, and then ascended came in. I'm like, what's that? And then I combine them together. It's like transcended. So it's not like ascension as in going somewhere. It's transcension, that transcending, which means transforming and getting to, the higher state or whatever. It could be lower state, I guess. But basically exploring consciousness through our intuition. I guess that's where I think it ties in with intuition, because like I was saying, like that vision came in, it cannot be from my mind, because mind is always logical and figuring out why this is this. Because if I was thinking with my mind, I'll be like, TR, ascend, fuck off. Because I'll be like, I don't want to think so much. But then I was like, okay, maybe there's a meaning. And then, came the transcending came together. So, oh, my hair is all messed up. But anyway, so
I really like that, because even as you're speaking, you've got this TR and you've got ascend, which is the blending of, which is the transcendence of. So you just define transcendence within two separate worlds or two separate words, right? And so that's kind of what we're doing when we're looking at intuition, is we're looking at our sacred path and who we know we are, and we're looking at this life path. What am I doing? Who am I? And so you're blending these two together. And once those two come together, that's when you have that perfect balance and you're in that intuition, right? So you've got this like transcendence, that's the action that blends it in perfectly with intuition. I can see that for sure.
The other word that comes to mind is resonance, because I think we've talked about it, about this, like how resonance is so important. Like, like you have to feel it out. If you connect with somebody, you can't like think about it. Like, I mean, if you think about it, then probably may not go in the right direction. I'm talking about relationships, but the way I feel is like, if we have to kind of feel it out, like that's where resonance comes in. So how do you define resonance? And maybe you can give us also some tips on how to figure out whether it's some mind chatter talking, or it's an intuition, or when you resonate with things or people or situations, like how it feels, in the body, especially because it's like all coming back to the body as well, because sometimes we get out of the body. So
that is some really good insight and homework and continuation, I think, for all of us. So when we're having a resonant frequency with someone, that's kind of like the signature frequency, or maybe even a attraction that's causing you to say, I want to know more about that person or who they are. And you become engaged on some level. And at that point, it's well, is what I'm thinking true, like you said before, or am I just hearing my mind chatter, where I'm really just curious about them and what their story is, or I'm going to start putting their story in my head to create who this person is in front of me. That's a very typical way of reacting to someone. Identifying with what their story is. And then we have this other one where you were at. What's their signature frequency? What is it that's causing me to resonate with them, or be drawn to them, or feel connected to this person? And then you have that experience, and then intuitively bringing that word back in, how do you know that that person is a signature frequency, or that person is resonating within you? It's just a knowing. Once you start questioning it, that's when all the reasons and the stories come playing in, from ourselves, from our mind, from other people, from whatever it is. And so don't doubt it. Just sit with it and be with it. You're not committing your whole hour to them. Commit 5 minutes to them. Even if it's a video on the internet, it's the same thing. Oh, I like that person. Oh, what are they saying? I'm really interested. And then, oh, okay, I'm just going to be centered in myself, listen to what they're saying, see if that resonates with me, how that's affecting my signature frequency, and then maybe come back to them in a little while so I don't get overstimulated.
Right. And maybe we can even go one step further, where we can say with the resonance can change. Like, for example, today I'm resonating, maybe even just in the next moment, like Andrew and Martina talk about the choice point, or what they call a choice moment, like where every moment of time is a choice we make, and then where do you feel resonance comes in there? Because do you think it's like a long lasting thing, or it can change quickly, or things like that?
Yeah, I feel a couple of different things about that word choice. If a person is on their daily work, they're doing their daily practice, they have their skills are kind of in sync, they have their schedule going, kind of whatever.
Yeah, right.
Then we're going to be capable of saying, I'm always in a choice. I'm making a conscious choice. This is a choice for me.
Right.
Choice. Well, that's not always the case. So I don't want to just tell someone that they have endless amount of choices and to follow their choice, because it does bleed into intuition. It is bleeding into what is resonating with you or what's not. So I think it's also really good to say we had one choice, and that was you were born. That's it. After that, you have no other choices you have. It's like, what? Really? Yep, you had one choice. So if we have that place as well to harmonize with and to know you had one choice, now from this point forward, it's these little teeny tiny decisions or awarenesses. Do you see? Because to me, that choice point can be very overwhelming. They
Okay.
get up in the morning and decide what kind of coffee you want, what kind of socks you want to wear, with just it's too many choices, and it can disrupt that intuition and disrupt our resonance, is what I'm saying.
Okay, maybe we can go one step even deeper. Is the truth. I think we've also talked about this. Like, do you think there's just one universal truth, or like my truth versus your truth? Like, are they two? Like, can I say I have a truth and you have your own truth, and they could be opposite to each other? Or do you think it's just like one? And it also ties in with good and bad, light versus dark and all that good stuff. But maybe we can just start off with like basic. What was I even forgot what I was? I think you got what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I do, and
yeah.
I feel that there's two. So your truth is your truth, my truth is my truth, and that is based on my experience, my knowledge, my life, right? And you have yours. And it's no different than the snowflake or the fingerprint or our own personal signature frequency. We're all different. So we're all going to have a different version of truth. And where I feel that gets a little confusing for people is that they're confusing their truth with their value and their morals and their moral compass and what it is that they stand for. And so I feel that's tied in significantly with our own truth. And then there's the truth. And that's, I think, where people get a little lost, because it ties into the ultimate questions of those existential crises of why am I here? What is the existence? Where did we come from? What is all this? What's life about? And so we're seeking these two different sides of truth. And this one truth, this huge big truth, not my truth and your truth, but this big truth is it's a mystery. That's it. It's right here. It's untangible. We get glimpses of it. We know it's there. Whatever it is that we want to call it, we know it's there. But I don't think I could call it truth without using that word mystery in it. Like a divine mystery.
yeah, what Andrew calls unknowing, the edge of unknowingness, right?
The
That's what
edge
he
of
called.
unknowingness. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I feel. Um, I mean, so basically, there's that moment in time or space where we are creating. I mean, the universe is creating itself. We're part of the universe, and we when we are creating, like deep down, when we are creating, we're not thinking whether it's true or not. It's we think, or good, whether it's good or bad. I mean, at least I'm not. I mean, I'm talking about like deep down, like what I feel I should be doing, saying all that stuff. Like there's two ways to look at it. I could be thinking about it and, logically trying to figure out, oh, is this person going to uh, be happy if I say this or not?
Yeah.
Especially because, like I've done the comedy stuff, like stand-up comedy, like
Yeah.
yeah, so they don't care. At one point, you come to a point where like, okay. It's like, well, I don't care what people think, and that's where I feel we go down to that space where there's no good or bad. At least I feel in that moment, I feel there's no such thing as good or bad or light or dark. It's a play. It's a play going on. What Buddhists, or actually Indians, call it Maya, is the illusion, the game of illusion, where it's just waves and, particles or whatever. They just, but when they are kind of connecting with each other, there's no such judgment around light or dark or good or bad, or even like values, for example, right? It's not, but I'm not like contradicting with what you're saying, but I'm just saying that it's just a different perspective that I look at things as, this light and dark happening at the same time. That's what quantum means to me, because now, like, many people are talking about it, like we're moving from the digital to the quantum age, technologically, but also in the consciousness we're moving towards that, where we can see what people call multidimensionality or parallel worlds, where we can see two things which are completely opposite to each other at the same time, in the same moment, and not judge. And that's where the no time comes into play, and parallel worlds, and higher self. So it's all happening at the same time. In that time, moment of time, there's no truth versus lie, there's no good versus bad. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. The simultaneous living is really important. What you
Mm-hmm.
described also transfers into us as above, so below. So, what we're internally going on,
Mm-hmm.
or what is going on with us, is that. So, we have this sacred path, and then we have our mundane path, right?
Mm-hmm.
And blending those two together, when that is happening, that is engaging in a no time experience or a quantum experience.
Right, right. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's just different ways to look at that, right? Like, I think I like the word perspective a lot, because every time, it's like good to keep in mind, like, people have different perspectives, but again, ties back with the truth as well. Like, just because I think something is true may not, may not apply to other people. I can share my ideas and my own truth, but it's up to them to kind of decide what's their truth, and I have to honor, respect, and not judge that. um
Yeah, and truths are always changing, like I'm not the
yeah,
same person as I was 10 years ago.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was kind of leading towards, not deliberately, but but yeah, that's but it's like, there, where you come to a point like, yeah, yesterday I thought this was true, but today,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I had a big one of those. That was the I am movement. This
Mm-hmm.
was 10 years ago, where that was a very prominent belief and truth, that it was all about the I am, I am strong. I am choice. I am DiTina. I am loved.
Yeah.
I am lovable.
Hmm.
And at that time, I was really into my hypnotherapy practice. So I was using that with all of my clients, just ending each one of their session with these powerful I am statements. And then over time, I started listening, and within my sacred work and my daily work, I discovered there's something else in that. And it's just the word with. So I transferred the I am to I am with. I am with love. I am with life. I am with perfect health. So it created a marriage, a union within that. It just shifted everything, at least for me and what I was doing. So I'm all about even just reevaluating myself, especially as a teacher.
Yeah, because you learn new things every day, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, it happened last year with the whole QAnon thing. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
it was like it shifted overnight. Like one day, I was big. I don't even know if you can say QAnon. I think you can say it, but just because YouTube is like,
Oh,
um,
because oh, right. I forgot all about those things.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
What
yeah.
the
They
video get taken
sometimes.
down or something.
That's fine. I'm not afraid. But anyway, they can't kill me because I'm living in another dimension. So, well, oh yeah, I was gonna say I completely what were we talking about?
The
I mean, the
QAnon.
no time moment.
Well, I think we're just sharing that truths change and our perspective change.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, right, right.
just keeping aware of the learning and the unlearning and the who you are versus who you're gonna be, and just dancing through life.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so yeah. Um, So first of all, yeah, thanks for joining once again, DiTina. You're in Scottsdale, right? Oh, I mean, some part of Arizona. I don't know if you want to disclose, but you're in Arizona. How's Arizona dealing with the lockdowns and things that are happening over there? Uh,
We have pockets of places that are actually okay with no masks.
mhm.
I definitely won't share where, but I went to a chiropractor a couple weeks ago, and he has a no mask policy, which was pretty cool. So no
Oh,
mask
wow.
in his office. And other than that,
Mhm.
everything is the same, where we're masked and
Mhm.
limited social engagements. I think it's at 10. It's very interesting not to be able to
Mhm.
go to a yoga class and the normal areas of life. But how about
Yeah.
you? Are you guys out of lockdown yet?
So yeah, I'm here in the Bay Area, California. So we're just the restaurants are the only thing I think
Mhm.
that are closed outside. I keep like they keep changing. I stopped stop following like every couple of weeks they come up with a new guide, whatever they call it, guidelines. I don't even think it's a guideline. It's a guideline.
Well, I think
It's
it's interesting too that our kids haven't even been in school. So they're saying now that kids are gonna go back to the classrooms. And then as far as what we've done to acclimate, because I love humanity, throw them anything, we will find a way around it to make it
yeah,
work. I mean, seriously, I have to say this, I was blown away. Apparently, this has been going on for years, but I was driving and I saw the sign that said, "We buy diabetic test strips." And it gave their phone number. And I thought to myself, we are so resilient. Like, look at this. Like, there's extra diabetic test strips from people, who passed away. Who knows why they have these extra ones? Now people are over there buying them and then reselling them and coming up with their own creative plan. But what I was going to say, that was just way to go, humanity. You are amazing, amazing people. We are. So anyway, we now have food trucks. And so there's these pockets of town. Do you have that? And it's all the local restaurants that have come together to sell their food.
Oh, like a market.
It's like a whole giant parking lot full of food trucks.
Oh, that's a good idea. I mean,
like
that's also a good business idea, right? Like if you can just rent a space and get all the farmers out there and sell their stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah. So you were talking about your sessions. Maybe you can tell people about the work that you do, like how you help people, in different ways.
Yeah, that's definitely been another learning process.
Yeah.
I really love working with people right now online and talking with them, giving them some coaching and setting up a plan. So that's my current love. But of course, I do body work and energy work and have been doing that, licensed here in Arizona for 20 years. So pretty much any modality besides Thai is one that I have a license in. But I really love working with craniosacral therapies and the purposeful change of a human body. I love that. But as far as the online stuff, that's, I feel, just where I need to go right now, especially like you just said, with all the stuff going on with the corona or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So what about the readings that you do? Because I've taken a reading from you and, it's amazing the work that you do. And once again, thank you for everything that you do. And maybe you can tell us more about what kind of readings you do for people. Like, like in the sense of like, is it life purpose, or like if they want to reach out to you, what can they reach out to you for?
I think it's most important to be honest. So, what are you feeling? Who are you right now? And what is it that you're afraid of or going through, or just being as truthful as possible when you're talking to me? And it doesn't have anything to do with like I want, like, if a person came to me and they said, I want to change this about myself, or I want to adapt a different habit, or I'm going through addiction, or I'm having trouble with my relationship, or my child, or my job, I can listen to anybody with wherever they're at. So I don't have like a set, quit smoking or stop smoking or whatever.
Quit smoking in 5 days. You don't have that.
Those are fine. Those are fine. That's not where I'm at. So what I'm saying is it's an honest place to come get a true assessment of where you are, how you're feeling, and what it is right now that you can say, honestly, I'm scared, I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm whatever it is, I'm anxious, or I'm so freaking lost, I have no idea what I'm doing, so I need to talk to you, and can you give me some insights, because I'm about to lose it, whatever it is. It's like when you're talking to me, you're talking to me. You're talking to a real person that's gonna sit there and say, now at that point, that's when it's my job within my skill set to say, these are our perimeters. This is what I'm feeling intuitively that I think might work for you, but you still have to consent. I'm going to offer you this. And I'll tell you why I'm speaking it like this, Lokesh. We have this consumerism mentality, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that. offering to people, where they feel like I have either a supply or a demand, right? I don't want to be either one of those for someone, because the
Yeah.
supply and the demand creates that consumerism. I'd rather be in the medicine itself, be present with that person, and help them get out of supply and demand mentality, and take them on different journeys, and help them see that they can actually be themselves and be honest. And also, another thing that's really important is for them to be able to have a voice that isn't their friend, their family member, their significant other, that they can repent to, or purge some of these things that have been on their mind, in their hearts, that's bugging them. And it's like, ooh, whoa, wow, just having that, it's amazing. So kind of answered your question, I think.
And people can reach out to you on your website. Maybe you can tell us how people can reach out to you if they have to or want to, I guess.
So my name is Mind and Matter DJ, but the website is just mindmatterdj.com. And the same thing for the Gmail. I kept it the same. So it's just mindmatterdj@gmail.com. And to be clear, this is all about or the audience, or whoever I'm working with, whatever. This is about their journey, their self-empowerment, their choices, but also their seeking to know thyself, and having a guide, having a mentor, having a coach, having a psychic, having a reader, having whatever it is, wherever my skill set's gonna set in. And so yeah, and then there's a lot of different variations of the practice on my website. You can see all the different types of things that I'm doing. And I just published this. I had to put it out there. I did a self-love mastery worksheet, and I added that to the website lately. And so you can go there and print it out. There's 2 different versions. One's a docs, so you can make the changes you want to, and one's a PDF. And I want to, with anybody new, that's where I want to start. So look at that, refresh the mind a little bit into what it is to really have self-love, and then we can work from there. So that's a base. And I've also been working on my prayers, which is going to be up really soon. Well, they're coming up one at a time on my YouTube, which is an offering for people as well.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'm waiting for that, because I saw on you posted a revocation a couple of days back, right, on your YouTube. That was nice. Was that Andrew's version or your own version? Andrew's
No,
version, right?
that's Andrew's Sanctuary of All Souls. And
Okay.
I intentionally put that up there as my first prayer.
Okay.
That particular revocation is very powerful, especially for myself. So I thought that'll be like the first one, and then from here on out, I'm going to be posting after in a certain sequence.
Oh, nice. That sounds amazing. Is there anything else that you want people to know, like dive into any specific thing? Especially, we can talk about what's going on right now, people at home all the time, and also with the technology all the time, phones and computers. So do you have any insights or maybe suggestions for people to kind of not get, kind of sucked into what's going on, especially the negative? I'm sure there's a lot of positive things going on, but dealing with anxiety and stuff like that, maybe.
I could talk for hours on that one.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, I was like, we need a lot of time for that. But yeah, go ahead.
That's such a sweet and delicate place for people. And so I did actually do a video last year about grief and grief within our planet, and then being able to really look at the grief inside of yourself and see if you're having that and where. Anytime we have such a significant change, we are going to go through a cycle of grief. So I think we are definitely in this stage of grief. Looking externally and recognizing that's always going to give us an opportunity to see what it is that's going inside. So I guess I can tie this in a little bit about the name that I chose for myself. And that's the Mind and Matter DJ. So within the physical body, you've got your mind, the head, the heart, and the belly. So you have 3 minds. And then you've got your matter, and that's the body. And that's just your way of existing within this particular soul suit, or whoever wants to say a word on that.
Yeah.
So that's this part. And then we also have the relationship between out here and ourselves. And so that's its own mind and matter, here and here. And then there's also the esoteric side of it, which we can put on pause for now. And that links again to, I said this earlier, the as above, so below. So when we're having this kind of situation going on, where our external is saying something so profound, like you can't do this anymore, or this isn't your job anymore, or this isn't who you are, or this isn't your identity, or you need to stay home, be a mom or a dad, teach your kids, handle everything, and still work on yourself and find time for play. All of that is, again, this external, internal relationship. Right. So the internal relationship is the most important thing that you can do. And part of that is really recognizing who you are, where you are, what you're feeling, and having 5 minutes a day to really look at that. And who knows what it is. No judgment, just I'm freaking out, or I'm sad, or I'm mad, or I'm depressed, whatever, just however it is that you're feeling in that moment. And then you're gonna laugh at me, write it down.
Oh yeah, I know. I know, it's like an insider joke. Like, you've been asking me to write shit down, I can't get my shit together. So yeah, it also ties back in with I was gonna say, I'll let you finish your train of thought. So you're saying, like, instead of focusing on the outside, like kind of going within. But what I was gonna say is, like, when fear comes up, right, like anxiety or any type of fear, so like you were saying, like, let it sink in, like don't resist it. So maybe, I think, at least for me, I find that kind of difficult when in that state, to kind of not resist it, not judge it, or not judge me for why I'm feeling that way, all that stuff. So maybe you can tell people what's the best. I mean, I know it's like not a short conversation we can, but maybe like a couple of pointers, like what people can do in the moment, when that happens.
I think that ties into what we were discussing there, a little bit about choice. And if you didn't have a choice at all to change, you could just allow yourself to be who you were in that moment. Just say to yourself, I'm not allowing myself a choice to change for 5 minutes. I'm going to sit with this and be in my fear. That's acceptance. And people don't know what acceptance is. They think it's hard to explain. It's very intangible. I can say accept it, or I can say let it go. And people are like, huh? What? How do you do that? I don't know what that is, you know?
Yeah.
So I have a choice to not make a choice, or I have a choice, whatever it is, to not change right now in this moment and feel this. And the other thing is too, is I'm over here saying, I'm going to hold this sacred space for you to be who you are and say what you want to say and be who you want to be and be the mentor and your guide and do all these things, right? And I'm talking about feelings. And now I'm going to say, sometimes it's good to turn them off. Acknowledge them, know they're there, feel them, and know that true change is going to happen through things like courage, bravery, being someone you've never been, doing something you've never done, kind of stepping into this realm of, I don't know, right? So there isn't a particular way to get over fear, but part of it is definitely saying, I'm having fear and I have the courage to get through this and I am strong enough to get through this. Or I don't know. I mean,
there's many ways. Yeah.
It kind of goes on and on and on.
Yeah, for me, it's like breathing. When I try to get back to my breath, that helps. Because sometimes I even forget I'm breathing. Like, I'm like, who's breathing for me? Is that AI is already here? But no, AI is not here. Even if it's here, I'm not looking that side. But anyway, I was going on it. So you're saying going within and try to give it some time, like not like jump from one thing to the other, or one feeling to the other, one thought to the other, but give it some time and space. And then, I mean, for me, when I do that, right, it takes me to a space where I stop thinking, and that's when I know the truth is about to pop in, like that heart thing and the intuition thing we're talking about. So maybe that's a very good suggestion, actually. Thing to do is like for example, right now, feel like, whatever, let's say smoking. I like to smoke tobacco, whatever it is, but in the next moment, if I'm thinking I shouldn't be doing it, but it's like I can't be just keep changing myself every moment. Like, give it some time and space, right?
Exactly.
And that's could be different for different people. Like, I might need 5 minutes because I'm super intelligent. No, I mean, whatever. But some people might need it 1 week to sit with that thought or feeling, right? And that's where plant medicine comes into play. Like, I've experienced it, and I'm pretty sure you have too. Like, it's easy to, I mean, it's not a recommended way. I mean, there's nothing like the ultimate truth like we were talking about, but it's like, if it works for people to kind of take you to that space, we're not, I mean, it's kind of a paradox, because plant medicine does take you to that space where you are shifting so fast between different perspectives, but at the end of the day, it's also kind of bringing me back to my heart space. So I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah, and there's also something really special about the word medicine. I mean, what if it was called plant box? The word medicine has been blessed, and so it already has this energy around it. If you say you're going on a medicine journey, part of that is actually the word. So there's a lot of power in that, you know?
Yeah.
What is your medicine, and how are you using that medicine?
For me, like, I had ayahuasca about 4 years back. That kind of shifted things for me. And I had the mushroom journey a couple of times. That, I mean, it's, I think what I learned from it is like you have to be really patient with that. And also cannabis, been, I don't know if experimenting is the right word. I don't like that word anymore. Exploring.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like Terence McKenna. Oh, I've been experimenting with mushrooms all my life.
You're like a walking experiment.
Yeah, walking, talking. So yeah, cannabis has been helping me lately a little bit. CBD, it's not too much THC, just 20-1 ratio is what I'm using in my oil. The CBD oil is 20 CBD, 1 THC. So basically it's like I was saying, sometimes it makes me think too much. I don't know if it's actually not think, but emote, I guess is the right word, like have a lot of emotions. But also at the same time, it's kind of bringing me back to my heart space. Well, I guess it's the same thing because that's where the emotions come from. But I think sometimes it's overwhelming for me. Like that's where the anxiety comes in. Then I'm like, this a ripoff? It's a scam. The the plant medicine is also calming me down, but also at the same time it's giving me anxiety so I can keep but that's where I think we talked about it, like that's where we have to be careful not to get addicted or get too dependent on anything, whether it's people or substance. So maybe you can talk to us about a little bit about uh, addiction or things like that, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, these are all blending in very well. Talking about the choices and changes, and then where we are in our current reality with Corona. I still call it Corona, even though I know it's being called COVID. So, and then again, identifying with who you are, where you are, allowing yourself to be in that moment without forcing yourself to change. And then how that blends in with the coping skills or our awareness medicines or whatever, all of these things. And then, of course, with any sort of distraction, we are looking at a possibility for it being an addiction. And whether that's exercise or doing
Dancing,
certain
yeah.
things, there's a lot of different ways that we're coping and also being slammed in the face with addiction. So medicine itself had a split a long time ago in the timeline that I've seen of humanity. And it had this really sacred place. All of a sudden, I'm either going to be a treat or I'm going to be alchemy of support.
What's the first word you said?
Treatment.
Oh, treatment. Yeah. Okay. Like a solution, like a problem solution kind of a thing. Okay.
It's split.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to be this alchemy of support. And so it never, well, I can't say never. It didn't have the tendency to wrap itself around duality until it was given this opportunity through our human journey. We're the ones that split this. And so when we're looking at something like an addiction or anything else, it's really important to say, am I treating it? Or am I providing an alchemy of support for this and with this? The treatment is always going to be in that I statement, right? I need it. I need to calm down. I'm upset. I need to sleep. I need to handle my kids. I need to handle this. I.
And then you get into this loop kind of thing, right? Which
yeah, that's like, yeah. Absolutely. So here's treatment. Here's the with. I am with. I am with the alchemy of the support of what this is. I am with my tobacco. I am with this journey. I am with the choices you're making or whoever's making out there. This is an alchemy that I'm inviting to put into my body that is going to support me right now, and I'm going to be in sync and in line with it. I am becoming it. It is becoming me. It's just like breathing. It's just like a synergistic relationship with it.
Right.
So we can do that with tea, like instead of saying, I'm stressed out, I'm going to drink this chamomile tea, you're still in treatment No, what's the alchemy I can provide with this? And I have the choice to say, you know what? It's going to help me relax. This is my medicine. Alchemy of support. So if you're struggling with any sort of addiction, decide how you're taking it, why you're taking it. Look at all the different ways when you take it, how it makes you feel. Just don't be afraid to use those self-identification markers and reach out to someone if you need help getting a little too out of control.
Yeah, the word that comes to mind is trust, because we have to really trust ourselves in that moment more than anybody else. Like, even if, let's say, I have you that I'm talking to or anybody about what I'm going through, ultimately I have to trust my kind of gut feeling or emotions to see where I'm at, right? So what do you feel, where do you feel like trust comes into play here?
That's a slippery slope, because just looking at the word gut feeling, most of our guts are toxic.
Oh yeah, that was like yeah. I mean,
yeah, I think that one's always worth a second evaluation. Unless it's just in a spontaneous spur of the moment, I don't care, place. But yeah, if we all had perfect healthy guts and they weren't, toxic, and we were all okay, then I would say, yeah, trust that a little bit. But
I mean, trust in general, not just like maybe even our thoughts and feelings. Like, how do I trust what I'm going through is what I'm supposed to be going through? But because sometimes, I'm like, or maybe even why am I going? That's one of the things I feel a lot of people, including me, like why is this happening, right? So that's where I was thinking about trust. We can really trust that it's happening for a reason. I guess I'm answering my own questions now. No, but what do you feel about that? Like, how do you trust whatever's coming up is what it's supposed to be happening?
I know that there's going to be truth in both. That part of what is happening is supposed to be happening, and part of what is happening is not supposed to be happening.
Okay. Oh wow,
and
that's like the quantum stuff, maybe. Yeah.
So reword your question.
So how do you trust, in other words, like, is there a lesson to be learned in everything? That's like for example, for me, sometimes I doubt whatever I'm doing, saying, whatever, is like, is this my true self? Like we were talking about earlier, when you resonate. So am I resonating with my own thoughts and feelings, or is it like an ego kicking in, or all those things? So I also lost my train of thought, but I think you got what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I call that the who I am loop.
Yeah.
And so that's like the self-identity loop. And it's who I am, who I am, who I am, who I am. And it kind of shows up in all these different ways, right? So, am I this person today? Am I this thought today? Am I in this moment today? And then how do I trust that what I'm thinking, feeling, or going through is real? Or is it substantial? Or should I look at this or should I ignore it? Should I walk away? Like, what am I doing? Right. So that's the who I am loop. And so it can go into things like monkey brain, where you've got to be really mindful of that inner chatter and turn it off or turn it down for just a minute. Right?
Yeah.
So how do people do that? How do they truly turn off for a minute? How do they do it?
Or is that a rhetorical question, or is that,
I mean, I'm asking you, how do they do it? You've seen a lot of people, you know a lot of people. How do people turn off?
Oh, well, alcohol helps. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know about people. I don't know many people actually. I only know people on Facebook. No, oh yeah, I haven't. Okay. Anyway, I was going. So I was also actually getting conscious of the time, because I know you have to go. How much time do you have?
Oh, yep. I have to wrap this up really soon.
Yeah.
Let me say this about about what we were talking about.
Yeah.
To sum up the who I am circle is letting go and finding a way and finding a path to really dump out your information, whether that's knowledge, what you did that day, your feelings, whatever it is that's kind of like in the head, in the heart, just bubbling up all over the place. So we were talking about the head stuff, the mind stuff, the questioning of stuff, the who I am stuff. So we'll just keep it at that. So if you're a vessel and your mind is thinking, it's, not to sound gross, no different than your belly. So you go to the bathroom every day, you need to keep your digestive system clean. It's the same thing for your head. Find a way to dump the information out. And now that could be another video. How
1 hour.
Like how do we dump that stuff out? There's a really great practice that I love to share with people about the pitcher. And I do think that's Buddha that did that one. I'd have to double check before I said for sure, but I do think that's one. And it's like you're imagining all of your thoughts in your day goes in the pitcher, and not a picture, a pitcher or something. Right. And then you dump it out. Like it's a whole thing. And so you can research that. There's just I could say meditation.
Even the Rubik's Cube, right? Like Andrew talks about, it's a similar thing, right?
Yeah.
Like so energy clearing.
Right. Well, there's energy clearing, there's mind clearing, there's heart clearing, there's gut clearing. We're always recycling and also releasing. So we need to learn to kind of let that flow around us and don't get stuck into, oh my gosh, I'm going to forget it. That's why we write it down.
Rub it in. All right.
We make a to-do list and we put it there and we get it out of our head. And on the paper. So maybe that can be like a little mini homework assignment for anyone who wants to make that. How to find ways to take a mental dump. And
that sounds like a good way to end. I was gonna say mental dump. That's a good the show, but no. But maybe let's do this again if you're up for it, because like so many things we can get into. I know you have to go, but is there any final thoughts or words you have to say before we wrap it up?
No, I don't think so. That was a lot of fun, and the time flew by. And thank you again. That was my first time.
Yeah, welcome to YouTube.
I know, here I am.
And thanks, DiTina, once again. It's was great chatting with you. And this is again Lokesh from Soul Freedom Show, and I'm pretty sure DiTina will connect again and we'll continue these conversations.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lokesh.
Take care.
Bye.